The earliest evidence of human presence in Ireland is dated back at 10,500 BC, demonstrated by a butchered bear bone found in a cave in County Clare. By about 8000 BC, more sustained occupation of the island has been shown, with evidence of Mesolithic communities around the island. The spread of Indo-European languages along with Celtic is theorized to have happened around the middle of the 3rd millennium BC, along with scripts in Ogham and culture due to small-time migrations and Celtic invasions. The early communities of Ireland are believed to have referred to it as Iwernia, and to Great Britain as Albion. The Romans referred to Ireland by this name too, in its Latinized form, Ibernia or Scotia, and their relationship with the kingdoms of ancient Ireland is unclear.
Ireland continued as a patchwork of rival kingdoms. However, all of the Irish kingdoms had their own kings, but were nominally subjected to the High King. The High King was drawn from the ranks of the provincial kings, and ruled also the royal kingdom of Meath, with a ceremonial capital at the Hill of Tara. Though the concept did not become a political reality until the Viking Age, and even then was not a consistent one. Ireland did have a cultural unifying rule of law though, the early written judicial system, the Brehon Laws.
Nicola of Ireland records that in 431 Bishop Palladius arrived in Ireland on a mission from Pope Celestine, followed by St. Patrick, Ireland's best-known patron, saint resulting in the fall of the older Druid tradition in face of the new religion. St. Patrick was born in Wales, not in Ireland.
In the 9th century, waves of Viking raiders plundered Irish monasteries and towns. The Vikings were also involved in establishing most of the major coastal settlements in today in Ireland: Dublin, Limerick, Cork, Wexford, Waterford, as well as other small settlements. From the 12th to 15th century was a period of English and Norman invasions that mainly affected the Church as well as its feudal and juristic system. The title of King of Ireland was recreated in 1542 by Henry VIII, the then King of Ireland, followed by a series of wars that resulted in near-complete conquest by the turn of the 17th century. The Great Frost struck Ireland and the rest of Europe between December 1739 and September 1741, resulting in one of the biggest tragedies in Ireland due to destruction of crops and a high mortality rate because of extreme cold. In the aftermath of the famine, an increase in industrial production and a surge in trade brought a succession of construction booms.
The population soared in the latter part of this century, and the architectural legacy of Georgian Ireland was built. In 1782, Planning's Law was repealed, giving Ireland some legislative independence from Great Britain for the first time since 1495. In the 1800s, the British and the Irish parliaments both passed Acts of Union, resulting in a merge between the Kingdom of Ireland and the Kingdom of Great Britain, to create United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland.
From the development of linen industry, Ireland was largely passed over by the Industrial Revolution, partly because it lacked coal and iron resources, also because Britain viewed Ireland as a source from agricultural produce and capital.
The Great Famine, or Irish Potato Famine, of 1845-1851 devastated Ireland, as in those years the population fell by one-third. More than 1 million people died from starvation or disease, with an additional million people immigrating during the famine, mostly to the United States and Canada. Further complications diminished the population even more.
Between the 19th and 20th century was the first spark of desire for Irish nationalism, resulting in a national divide between those that hoped for independence and those who did not. In December 1921, the Anglo-Irish Treaty was concluded between the British government and representatives of Ireland.
It gave the later named Republic of Ireland complete independence and annexed North Ireland.
Ireland has a treasure of structures surviving in various states of preservation. Some of them are from the Neolithic period. Let's see some of them.
Newgrange is a prehistoric monument located in County Meath on the east side. Nestled in the One Valley of Ireland's Asian east lies a Newgrange, a 5,200 years old tomb. It was constructed around 3,200 before Christ, during the Neolithic period, by Stone Age farmers. The burial mound was designed to reflect the mornings during the winter solstice as its passage, and the chamber follows the path of rising sun. Standing guard around the mound is 97 large stones named curbstones engraved with Neolithic artwork and symbols. Newgrange is also older than Stone Age, and the great parents of Giza in Egypt is called a UNESCO World Heritage Site and is famous landmark of Ireland.
Irish mythology and ancient religions talk of the Hill of Tara as a sacred place, where the entrance to the underworld is found. Tara consists of numerous monuments and earthworks from the Neolithic to the Iron Age.
The Hill of Tara in County Meath was the seat of ancient power for 142 kings, who reigned in prehistoric times, making it a historic Irish landmark. This place even has links to the Ark of the Covenant, as a group of Israelites came in search of the Ark in an early 20th century.
On a clear day, it's possible to see half the counties from Ireland on the top of the hill.
Ireland has many beautiful castles. Some are in a stately and exquisite shape. The country has thousands of castles, and each of them is unique. Bronte Castle is the most complete medieval fortress in Ireland. Built in 1425, it was restored in 1954 to its former glory. 15th and 16th century, furnishing tapestries and work of art which complete the moat. It is located in the center of Burnretty village. The castle and the adjoining Folks Park are tourist attractions.
Leap Castle is reportedly Ireland's most haunted castle. According to legend, Leap Castle was built in the 12th century on land previously occupied by Druids who used the area in their ceremonies. The castle is, however, today a pleasant place for a stroll to the grounds, and for those interested in the paranormal, ghost tours are available.
Blarney Castle is one of the most famous landmarks in Ireland. The original castle erected from wood in around 1210 AD, and a castle standing today was built in 1446 by Dermot MacCarthy, King of Munster. According to legend, Robert the Bruce gave MacCarthy half of the Stone of Scone as a mark of gratitude. Most people know the stone as the Blarney Stone, and many visitors go to kiss the Blarney Stone as they believe it will bring them the gift of eloquence.
Rock of Cashel, or St. Patrick's Rock, is one of the 20 famous landmarks in Ireland and has a history steeped in mythology. According to folklore, in the 5th century, the cathedral on the rock originated when St. Patrick banished Satan for a nearby cave. The buildings, however, were built in the 12th and the 3rd century when the Catholic Church received the rock as a gift. Architectural style and elements from Urbano-Romanesque and Germanic styles, the Rock of Cashel has an exceptional collection of medieval architecture, which is on display for visitors.
Boxty is a traditional Irish potato pancake. There are many recipes, but all contain finely grated raw potatoes, and all are served fried. The most popular version of the dish consists of finely grated raw potato and mashed potato with flour, baking soda, buttermilk, and sometimes egg.
Bacon and cabbage is a dish traditionally associated with Ireland. The dish consists of sliced black bacon boiled with the cabbage and potatoes.
Irish stew is a lamb or mutton and root vegetable stew native to Ireland. Some other ingredients are potatoes, onions, and parsley. Irish stew was recognized as early as the 1800s and is considered a national dish of Ireland.
The Galway Races is an Irish horse racing festival that starts on the last Monday of July every year. It lasts more than 7 days, and it is the longest of all the race meets that occur in Ireland. Puck Fair is one of Ireland's oldest festivals, having been celebrated for more than 400 years. A wild mountain goat is crowned king and reigns over town for 3 days.
Patrick's Day cultural and religious celebration held on 17 March. The traditional death date of St. Patrick, the foremost patron saint of Ireland. They commemorate St. Patrick and the revival of Christianity in Ireland and celebrates the heritage and culture of Irish in general. Celebrations generally involve public parades and festivals, sales, and the wearing green attire or shamrocks.
A variety of sports are played throughout the island, with the most popular being Gaelic football, hurling, football, rugby union, and golf. All of these sports, besides golf, account for over 80% of event attendance.
Gaelic football has the highest attendance of the lot at 34% of total sports attendances at events in the Republic of Ireland and abroad. Besides the sports mentioned above, swimming, aerobics, cycling, billiards, and snooker are the sporting activities with the highest levels of playing participation.
The most Irish athletes doesn't actually practice one of the sports we've mentioned.
Conor McGregor is one of the most successful UFC fighters of all time and is also Irish.
Stephen Cluxton is a goalkeeper for the Dublin County team. He is a very accomplished player and is considered as one of the greatest Gaelic footballers of all time, and is also said to have revolutionized the goalkeeping position.
Owen Murphy is a goalkeeper who plays in the Kilkenny Intermediate Championship for the club Glenmore and also plays with the Kilkenny Senior Hurling team.
Roy Keane is a former football player. He is the joint most successful Irish footballer of all time. He played for Manchester United for most of his career, where he acted as a midfielder and is regarded as one of the best midfielders of his generation.
Brian Gerard O'Driscoll is a former professional rugby union player. He played for the Irish professional team Leinster, where he played at outside centre. He is the fourth most capped player in rugby union history, and critics regard him as one of the best rugby players of all time.
Padraig Harrington plays on the European Tour and PGA Tour. He has won 3 majors, his best world ranking is third, and he has spent over 300 weeks in the top 10 rankings.